Hi everyone, good afternoon. Welcome to another live show. My name is Francis and I'm going to be the host for today. So today we'll be talking about a very important, sometimes because how can we actually help our children? How can we be sure that our children are not abused in any way? But today we have someone that will be talking about it with us. And okay, so she's already she's here. Okay. So today's topic is safeguarding children against sexual abuse, which is very rampant, unfortunately. Okay, so I'm trying to add the guest. Okay. Good afternoon, ma. Welcome.
You.
Okay. My name is Francis, and I'm sure most of the people watching already know me. But kindly introduce yourself.
Okay, my name is Uzoamaka Emmanuel and of Remarkable Destiny. And basically, it's a ministry to help and support survivors.
Okay. Okay. Wow. What actually inspired you to start the Women of Remarkable Destiny?
Okay, I'll tell you a little bit. My I became a Christian in 1994. During that period, of sexual abuse. Few years down the line, around about 90, I had there's an echo. Round about the Lord just began to minister to me that He wanted to heal me. Um, I did not think that I could be healed because there's so much which had affected me mentally, physically, emotionally, psychologically, sexually. And round about that time, it was a book I was reading, and in that book, it was just saying one of the statements was like, self love. I found that difficult to accept as the father, and I just stopped reading the book. Over the years, I now began to read the words just because I need to find wholeness within me. And another scripture, which was like Job chapter 11, 13 to 20, that talks about visibility, you'll forget your misery. And I thought, wow, is this possible? Can you truly find healing from these wounds? So the healing, the restorative word from the Bible gets struck. Sometimes God gave me that name of the Women of Remarkable Destiny. So it wasn't something I had wanted to start on my own. After illness, the Lord now inspired me to start something, to be able to help other people. Around about 2016, that was when it was in my heart to design a program, like help other people. Initially, I thought, how do I start? But the Holy Spirit just inspired me, and I wanted. So when I wrote down those issues, I didn't actually realize I had so many issues until I began to the various segments, like issues that affected my physical health, issues that affected my mental health, emotional health, and then to do um, and design the 7-step recovery program. Yeah.
Wow, that's really interesting. Okay. What are some signs that caregivers should look out, in children who may be at this risk?
I think the thing is to understand child's temperament. Because every child that comes within your setting, you need to understand their temperament, their extrovert. And once you can understand a child, if you see something abnormal in their behavior, to probe a little bit further. So, for example, a child is normal, well behaved, and suddenly they tantrum. I know that there are times that children have normal childish tantrums, but if it's excessive, every children, sometimes it could be a sign that something is not it's proper. And uh, when I had experienced sexual abuse, I realized that I became excessively angry what had happened because one of the abusers had said to me, "Don't tell anyone." So I had this. It's important to be able to identify when a child's personality has switched. So there could be sudden change. They notice something abnormal, their behavior. It's always to ask, okay, why are you doing this? What? Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So how can parents or caregivers, create this a safe environment for their children so they don't have to even go through this abuse? Because I
Yes.
mean to an extent. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so my question was how can parents or caregivers create a safe environment for the children so they don't have to go through abuse? Because sometimes, even in the safe environment that you're trying to create for your child, somebody there, somebody among, it might be the driver, it might be the caregiver herself, So, how can parents actually look out for their children?
One of the things that I would say is parents, especially, you have to create atmosphere where children communicate with you. Create an atmosphere where you're friends with your children. Create an atmosphere where you don't shut them down. Another thing is you create an atmosphere. I think it's so important. Parents should teach their children. Can you see the picture?
Yes, yes, I can. I
So
can.
I think it's so that another thing you need to do as parents or caregivers is you can have something where you teach the children about their body parts. You can have a role play because children learn. I know that it's something that people may feel uncomfortable to talk about. But the reality is it's shattered a lot of lives. And I think as caregivers, something as simple as this, a child can teach them, these are your private areas. Don't touch anyone there and don't let anyone touch you there. Touch you there. It's important that you speak up and talk to someone. So you have to create that atmosphere where they feel comfortable. Another thing is, you can use a doll and be creative. Know,
Yeah.
but this is something simple. It doesn't have to be complicated. You can use that. Even a 2-year-old will understand.
Yeah. Yes.
This is your body touch you on this side. Don't let anyone touch you. Don't let anyone touch you there. A 2-year-old can understand that. So as parents and caregivers, it could be your career, could be part of your social interaction with the children once in a while, and you could just act out like a role.
Oh, okay.
And second, from the last questions. I just remember that, um, another thing they can do is it depends on the age of the child. Because I heard a story. She left her child at home, her 7-month-old baby, and subsequently she whenever she was changing the child, realized that the baby had bruises in the private area. So the mother sharing her story. When she shared it with somebody, the lady told her, "Why don't you put a camera in your house to find out what's really happening?" And unfortunately, they put the camera and they realized that using the child. So as caregivers, if you've got young babies and you notice any form of bruise going on as well, yeah. So I just remember that.
Sad. That's really sad. Okay, so someone in the comments said, "What about for boys? Because you just showed us for girls. How about for boys?"
It's the same thing in my picture. In my picture,
Yes. Yes.
so it's actually the same thing. You also have to teach them. But if you see the picture, that's the boy and that's the girl. So it's still the same thing about um because even in statistics, it shows that 1 in 6 boys are sexually abused, which is quite high. Yeah, so yeah, it covers both the boys and the girls, and it's similar to this other picture.
Okay, okay, okay. Okay, so what advice would you give to children? I mean, from 2 years and above that can understand. What advice would you give them on how to recognize inappropriate behaviors and to assert their boundaries?
The first, there's a scripture, 1 Corinthians 6:18. It says that your body is the temple of the living God. So you have to teach them that their body. Then you also have to teach them that way, obviously when they cover themselves with clothes, anyone. So for example, if you're talking for a 2-year-old, the 2-year-old would like a doll. It's something that I believe that when you give them that illustration, sometimes they might not be able to express it. You teach them using something as simple in their language. They understand the doll. You're don't let anybody touch you there. Don't let anybody touch you there. And then you can also teach that there are different types of touches. You've got a good touch, a bad touch, and an accidental touch. For example, to say hello, you can pat them on the shoulder. That's a good touch. Or pat them on the head. You have to say, it's okay. Accidental touch could be maybe if they're a sport, like sports game into house for TV. When people are, playing together, someone can touch them accidentally. So they need to understand that sometimes someone can in a game that is open where everybody can see you. And then you also need to teach them about the bad touch. This yeah,
Okay.
use something like this as well. So you go young children and then just say, everywhere there's a red mark, don't let anyone touch you there. Another thing, you can do role observation, like a little role play, a little drama. Another thing is you have to teach them about grooming. Grooming. Someone to try to lure them and give them gifts to say, okay, I'll give you this gift, but just secrets, good secrets and bad secrets. So it's about the caregivers and the parents, you know, to be able to speak to the children about these various things. For example, if somebody wants to have a surprise party, that's a good secret. It doesn't hurt anybody. So you have to
Yeah.
be different. Then a bad secret, something that can hurt somebody else. The key thing is always children don't understand and actually take the step to explain these things to them. Yeah.
Okay. So, what role does community and support networks play in helping survivors and preventing this abuse?
Um, for example, if you look at the support networks, various kind of support networks, you've got like the medical one. It's always good, if an incident has occurred, that the survivor or goes to so they can obviously examine them, help them, write a report about the incident. So that's the medical. And then you also have the aspect of where you can um, go for counseling,
Mm.
so you can have counseling therapies and things like that. Then you've also got the legal system. I think you see incidents has occurred that it's reported to the appropriate authorities, reported to ensure that obviously a crime has been committed and the legal system can take that. Also got
Mm.
like social workers, and I get it varies. Social workers are involved. They can write like a care plan and work through that process. Rehabilitation centers are good as well, so that you can time from that process. Another if you look at is good. If you've got like a prayer network, people that can pray for you, one of the scriptures, Isaiah 30:17 says, "I will restore health unto you and heal you of your faith journey as a Christian," and the scriptures that help me walk through that. There's various, yeah, yes. And in
Okay.
terms of preventing abuse, uh, I personally believe educational establishments should incorporate a theme regarding sexual abuse in the curriculum. They can either have it once a term, at the beginning of the term during induction. You could say the things about, secrets, about grooming, about your body. Institutes will be a good idea for them to incorporate that. I also believe that during parents, they should have a session where they actually talk about this. If you feel uncomfortable, we create awareness to the parents, and they can also relate that to the children. You can do that in nurseries as well. Yeah, and those are the ways that you can actually prevent.
Okay. Okay. So, what are some common misconceptions about child abuse that can be addressed, that should be addressed?
Um, you know, is this posh mentality? For sometimes the misconception imagines the abuse, and they can feel that the child gave consent to an adult. Um, they could feel that this child is loved. So this is that needs to be addressed. That if a child says something has happened to them, it's important to prove it. And because they've got this conception that, oh, you keep quiet, don't talk about it, you're going to ruin the family. Those things, this thing about taboo, like, it's a shame. We have to keep quiet. Both the family, so those are some things that needs to be addressed. Yeah, to remove that stigma.
Okay. Okay, so what steps do you think that, we as a society can take to prevent sexual abuse?
The key thing is to create as much in society. We have to create a lot of awareness of the statistics. It's quite horrific. It's not it's a global thing. It's something that occurs globally in every country, every continent, every nation. We need to highlight, all the effects, and all the and another thing is to remove that shame, that taboo, that feeling of, and also have to create awareness, because there's actually a high level of suicide rates among people that have experienced trauma and the experiences and how it's actually affected them. So these are issues that need to be addressed. They need to be highlighted and create goals, especially where they're children. So we need to continually create awareness and teach the younger people about.
Okay. So how can caregivers support children that has experienced trauma and their healing process?
One of the things is you have to love them, because once a child has experienced sexual abuse, sexual abuse actually teaches them. You have a child that's young, happy, jovial. Sometimes they can become they can become promiscuous. They can go through depression and nightmares. So the first thing is show them love. Let them know that you love them, reassure them. Another thing is everywhere they should go for counseling. There are people in the professionals that and therapists have the knowledge of that child through that experience. You can also process of the healing process and action plans. Arts the child, if they're able to express what they've gone through, because some children have to find different ways to reach out to that individual child. It could be through role plays, it could be through others. So we have to know the difference, on how to reach them. So
Okay. So in your opinion, what should be added to the educational programs that can help children understand and be able to protect themselves from this abuse?
yeah, it also links to what I've said before.
Yes.
What can be added, is a program of adding sexual abuse. For example, they've got different English, home economic. So they can add a sexual abuse, and they can also during their children's day, and they can they can add things like drama, like a little drama, obviously this image,
Yeah.
you could just within 5 minutes, a child will understand. When you give them, they can also use things like worksheets. Like you have worksheets with puzzles and question and answer. I feel that during parents' meeting as well, I really think it's so important that they add in sexual abuse during the meeting, just to create a pandemic.
Okay. Okay. Well, we have one question in the comments. The person said, "Is it not proper for the body parts to be noticed in schools as well?"
To be noticed.
Yeah.
What do you mean notice? In terms of
I think what the person is trying to say is, don't schools, like for the children that are around 2 year old, don't the teachers or the caregivers notice the body parts in school and all of that? I think that's what the person is trying to say.
do you mean like notice in terms of like if anything goes wrong?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, but it depends. I believe, and I think that's in connection to the example that I gave you.
Yeah.
Had bruises on her, and
Yeah.
through that she was able to investigate. So it depends on if you're a caregiver and then part of your then there are situations if you observe there are bruises in their private parts, then obviously or he.
Okay. So there is no other question in the comment. Okay. So thank you so much. I mean, this has been really very very insightful because I know of girls, I know girl children who have gone through abuse. I know people that have actually lived in very abusive homes. Not knowing who to speak to and not knowing how to help themselves. I think this video is really going to help children like that. Thank you so much for coming on here today and answering all our questions. We really hope to have you again sometime soon. Thank you.
And just finally, so that could help.
Yeah.
Yeah. For example, obviously, if we're going to look at Nigeria, there's a Mirabel Center and Warif, and then you can see in Lagos, which is part of the State Ministry of Justice. So it depends on where you are. What people can do is to go from the nation where they are. If it's the UK, you've got the Red Crisis, the Star Center, Scotland. It depends on the nation where you are. You can find various resources, and they can also come through to the Women of like resources if they choose to. Yeah.
Okay, we have a question in the comments. The person said, "What would you like to say to an adult who still has flashes from abuse from childhood?"
Find out if they're able to, if they go for counseling. Because for me, for many years, I didn't actually talk about it till I was in my 20s, and that flashback. And then I used to have like nightmares about one of the houses where that incident happened. So one of the things I would find someone you can talk, and then spiritually you could just begin to pray. And that was Proverbs 10:7. It says that the memory. So I had carry that into my life for many years to deal with the memory, so obviously, this is um I need to get rid of these memories, and then just begin to renew your mind.
Okay. Uh, okay. Thank you. I hope that has answered the question. I really do hope because it has answered mine. Mm, all right. Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you. And so enjoy the rest of your day. We hope to have you back online with us soon.